Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, JC Soto. And in life, one of the main elements to succeed is confidence. Without confidence in every aspect of our life, we cannot succeed. That's a fact. And today we have someone that is an expert in helping us to cultivate that confidence and develop and make it grow. And she's also an author. She wrote a book about it. She's a coach and a public speaker. Her name is Vanessa Raymond. Welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you, JC. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. And let's talk about unstoppable confidence. That's what we need to have in our lives, not only in business, but in anything that we attempt in life. We got to have some big confidence in ourselves and confidence from other people that might want to join us and help us out. So can you tell us a little bit about the victory factor and how you're helping your clients achieve that unstoppable confidence?
Absolutely, JC. I'm a little bit unconventional in the way I coach, because my background is, I like to say, from the physical side, because I have been a dancer my whole life, and I was a musical theater performer for many, many years, and also a fitness professional. So I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people on fitness, and also in the health and wellness industry, as well as I performed for years. So, what I teach really comes from my experience, not only working with people in the gym on their bodies, helping them create confidence through exercise, but also from the years and years of spending time in front of mirrors, also always comparing myself to others, and going from audition to audition and dealing with rejection and, having the big highs and lows. And one of the most important things that I learned in my journey is that if you have a positive attitude and a magnetic presence, that is way more effective in life than just skill. Skill is important. We all study what we all get educated, and we should, in what we love and what we want to share and how we want to help others. But in the end, when it comes to retaining clients, getting new clients, getting those high-paying clients, if you don't have a certain amount of belief in yourself, a high belief in yourself, and confidence in what you do and what you have to give, all that skill really, then you cannot use it to the fullest. Because when it comes to people, really, they're attracted to you for who you are and whether they resonate with you or not. Skill is important, but in the end, if you want to keep those clients around and you want to really get those high-end paying clients, you really want to build your confidence. And then on the personal side of things, really, confidence determines so many things in our life. It determines decisions. We make decisions every day, all day. It helps make decisions. It helps us create fast action if we feel confident in who we are and what we do. And it can also determine who the people are that we end up choosing as a husband or a wife, or as a client or a boss or a lawyer or a doctor. The way you show up is everything.
You say something that belief in yourself and believe that you can deliver. It doesn't apply just in business. It applies in any relationship you have, whether it be your family, raising your kids, with your spouse, with your friends. That belief's got to be there, that you can be that person that they need you to be and that you want to be, and that you can deliver that result, right?
Right. And JC, the truth is that there's so many people that underestimate their power and their ability to create this self-belief and this confidence. And unfortunately, when we don't value ourselves, we do attract people in our lives that take advantage of us because you come across as vulnerable, and there are unfortunately, those vibrations that go out and people take advantage of that. And so I really am passionate about helping people, entrepreneurs, leaders, speakers, really step into their own power and understand what that is, how to attain it, and how to maintain it.
What is it that they're afraid of to step into their own power? What's the fear or some of the fears that they'll bring up?
Well, JC, according to human needs psychology, two of our main fears as human beings is that we might try and fail and we're not good enough, or that we won't be loved because of succeeding or because of maybe standing out, not fitting in, right? So I think a lot of people subconsciously, they sabotage themselves because of those fears. I think those are the most common fears, and they exist in all of us as human beings. And so I really like to dig deep with my clients and find out where those fears sit. And I think in the end, it really is about understanding that it's not about comparing yourselves to others. It really is about focusing on your life purpose and your goal, and really focusing on yourself and your self-growth. That is a huge part of building your confidence.
So those are also probably misconceptions, right? There's some misinformation out there. What else you think can you share with us that there are some false beliefs about what confidence is and the benefits that it can bring to our lives?
Right. And there's a fine line, JC. I'm glad you asked this question. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? I often get that question. People are like, yeah, but I don't want to come across as arrogant, and I don't want people to think I'm better than them. I think one of the misconceptions is that we feel if we step into our power and we stand in our beliefs that we're going to alienate people because we are going to make them feel small. That is a total misconception. When you really authentically step into your own power and you understand who you are, what you are about, and you show up in that way, you're actually empowering the people around you. You are giving them permission to do the same. As human beings, we are so connected. And I know if I step into a room and there's someone that really is confident in a really authentic way without being pretentious, I really admire and respect that person. And I feel like I want to step it up. And so I really, myself, my goal is when I'm around people is to have them feel empowered. I want them to feel good about themselves. And when you are confident, you tend to find it easier to hand out compliments and really communicate with people. That's part of what I teach. Is communication is a big part of what I teach. Because if you understand communication and you can communicate effectively, and you understand that by making others feel worthy and by making them feel good about themselves, they will connect with you, and you can have a much deeper conversation, a much deeper connection, and create much better relationships that way.
And you make a really strong point. When I was in the service in the Air Force, the higher up officers were really, really relaxed. They made you feel like you were actually part of the team. They come talk to you like a human being, even though they were probably 10 to 12 levels above you. And they were in charge of probably 50,000 people. But every time they came around, it was like they haven't seen you in a while. They want to talk to you. So I think that's a very good point. You don't have to be arrogant, and you don't have to distance yourself from people because you have success already. But you still have to keep that confidence going and be that person that people feel confident with and comfortable with at the same time.
Right. I'm all about making people feel comfortable, because when someone feels insecure or they're feeling less than confident, it is very difficult for them to communicate properly. So if you know how to disarm that for people, and it's so simple. I mean, a lot of what I teach is in body language. It's so simple. Simple things like hand gestures, smiling, keeping an open posture. It's inviting for people. It makes them feel like you are approachable, and they can approach you and speak to you without feeling self-conscious. The other thing is really being able to lead a conversation, being able to know that you can initiate a conversation. If you see someone is standing in the corner all by themselves, 9 out of 10 times that is because they're shy and they don't really know how to start a conversation. So be the leader, walk up to them, introduce yourself, and disarm that real anxiety that they're feeling by just smiling and being open.
You lead by example when you do that, and people start looking up to you now to start doing the same thing with other people in the room, because now this, like Gary Barnes will say, you're safe. People can talk to you. You don't have an agenda.
Right.
You just want to connect, right?
Right. I love how he expresses that you are a safe person, someone that someone can feel confident with, comfortable with, and they can relax. Absolutely. The other side of this, JC, which is a big part of what I teach, I talk about the snowball effect. And the thing is that when we learn that we can initiate these relationships or these conversations or these interactions with people, what happens is when you come to a situation with an open heart and friendly, open posture, smile, and you're disarming the other person, you're making them feel comfortable, what's going to happen? They're going to do the same for you. And so that's back and forth of and also if you are aware and you know your posture, your body language, you're smiling, you have that good positive attitude and that smile, people are going to compliment you. And the more you get that from other people, the easier it is to act in that way, because you're starting to embody it, because you can feel it. When people start looking at you and they go, "Oh my gosh, you look so great today. What are you doing?" And you go, "Well, I'm breathing, I'm standing tall, I'm smiling." And it really, it's kind of mind blowing how simple it actually is, but it's about getting the ball rolling. I always say we want to get you into that growing snowball effect and out of the downward spiral, because you can choose which way you go. And right. It's just making a conscious decision and having the tools that I essentially teach to help you go into that snowball effect, as opposed to hitting that downward spiral and not knowing how to get out of that.
In your experience, is it normal for somebody that is normally confident to have a moment of hesitation or doubt?
None of us are 100% confident all of the time. For everybody in this world, me included, there are certain things in life that I feel so great and confident in. And then there's other things that I don't. Confidence is something that you cultivate, and it is about stacking small wins. So the thing that you've practiced, that will be the thing you are most confident in. If you're starting something new, it is natural to not feel confident. And that is why you always hear all these self-help leaders talk about the fact that you have to build on something and it's uncomfortable to do something new. And in order to grow, you have to step into that discomfort. Once you learn that, it is so much easier to cultivate that confidence. A lot of people shy away from that uncomfortable feeling because they don't know what to do with it. And they're like, but if once you realize it's the same for everybody, no matter how confident you are in one thing, if you step into doing something new, you have to build that confidence by practicing and, like I said, stacking those small wins, doing things step by step. And as you get better at what you're doing, the more confidence you gain in that area of your life.
That's right. Somebody said that for anyone to be good at something, at first you have to be horrible at it,
Right.
because, it's the first time. But it seems like to be a misconception when we see all these people like on TV or social media and they look all so confident. It's a mistake to think that that's 100% of the time, that's what that person is. They have their moments of hesitation and self-doubt.
Yep. You're right. Every single one of those people, if you go and speak to them and you ask them what their first day on TV was like, I'll tell you what, they were crap scared out of their mind. The thing is to still do it anyway, and know that the more you do it, the better you're going to get, the more comfortable you're going to get. I work with a lot of my clients on virtual. Because right now, there's so many people that are nervous to get on Facebook Live or get on Zoom, and they just don't want to look at themselves. They're like, I can't stand looking at myself. And what we need to learn and realize is that we are all hypercritical of ourselves. Other people do not see us the way we see ourselves. And so we need to understand that I know when I look at myself in the screen, I go, well, my tooth is askew, I have an odd smile, I have a droopy eye. We see all those things. And unless you make your audience aware of it, they don't see it. And the mistake that we make is we apologize for the things that we think aren't good enough or what we see as our shortcomings. But unless we are mentioning that to other people, they will never notice.
Sometimes they're more concerned with themselves than with us. They're more insecure sometimes than we are, and we don't realize.
Right.
So can you give me an example of someone that was really lacking self-confidence and you helped that person just break through and get to the other side and feel more confident and more at ease with themselves?
Yes. Oh, so my story, I love telling this story because for me, it was a huge light bulb moment and a real pivotal moment in my life. I would say that is really where I discovered the value of what I teach. And at the time, I didn't know what I was teaching. I had this thing happen and I had to go and analyze what had happened. And that is really what sparked the victory factor and my killer confidence concept for me. I was working at a Pilates studio at the time in Las Vegas, and I was sitting at the front desk when this young lady walked in, and I literally couldn't see her face. She was obviously very shy. She had her hair hanging across her face. She was looking down. She was speaking in a very soft, timid voice. I signed her up for a few sessions. She came in the next day for her consultation. And while speaking with her, during my consultation, I discovered that she had a cancerous tumor in her neck removed. So she had no skin or muscle on the one side of her neck. She had a big gouge. And it all made sense to me in that moment why her posture was what it was, because she was hiding. She was trying to hide this. At the time, I was just teaching Pilates, right? So I just treated her like any other client. However, I intuitively, after each session, I would have her get up from the reformer or the Cadillac, wherever we were working, and I'd have her stand in front of the mirror. And I'd have her stand nice and tall, and I'd have her smile and wipe her hair out of the way. And I just say to her, look how beautiful you look, standing beautiful and tall. We did this week after week after week. She'd come to me twice a week. And of course, Pilates, those of you who are familiar with it, is all about posture and stabilization of the core, right? So what happens is you naturally grow a little taller and your posture improves. And of course, she was starting to feel stronger and she was starting to feel healthier, all the things that come with it. 10 weeks into her treatment, or her treatment, not her treatment, 10 weeks into her Pilates sessions, She came waltzing in the door. I didn't even recognize her. She had cut her hair completely short, like a pixie style, spiky hair, and she was just smiling and beaming with confidence. And right behind her was a gentleman, and he walked straight to me. I hadn't met him before, and he came in for the hug. And he said, "Hi, Vanessa, I really wanted to come in and meet you. I'll call her Rebecca just for the sake of talking about her. I'm Rebecca's husband, and I just want to tell you that you have changed her life." And I didn't know what had just happened. I mean, obviously it was a very, very emotional moment for me, and I still get emotional when I tell the story. But I couldn't believe that just doing Pilates with her every day had literally changed her life. But when I analyzed it, I realized, and now that I've studied it and I understand that body-mind connection more and the way our posture and body language affects our mental, emotional state, I understand what happened there. And that's essentially kind of the foundation of what I teach now.
Wow. That's a really inspiring story. There's so many people that go around without even having anything physically wrong with them, but have that lack of confidence years and years and years with that. And to have that moment of transformation is amazing.
Right. And JC, since then, I've learned, that three of the main, I like to call them, I have my four foundational, the four cornerstones of confidence, I call them, but they're really the same principles that affect our success, that affect our confidence, that affect our life, is understanding how our posture, the way we act, our focus, what we think, the language that we speak. And then I added the exercise element because along with posture and body language, I feel like when people understand what that does for your life and your psyche and your mental emotional state, it's unbelievable, and they're all linked. And when you heighten your awareness of those four things, it is life-changing.
I'm also what's called a Silva mind training instructor. I teach people how to use their mind to accomplish things and goals and visualize. And one of the things that my training teaches people is how to use your mind to change how you feel about yourself in an instant. And I'm glad you talk about using your mind and using your posture and using all the elements that you have, because most people don't even realize the power they have.
Right. And that's kind of, and I think it all works together so well. And that mind body thing is so valuable. But like I said, I'm a little unconventional because most coaches, I think, work on the mental things first, which I totally go into the mental. However, I explain to my clients that just like your body posture is affected by the way you feel, you can change the way you feel by changing your physicality. So when you understand that, a lot of people feel like they have more control over their bodies than they do over their mind. They might not, but that's what they think. Yeah. So when you show them the power in what the physical can do, because they feel like they're in control of it, and how that changes what's going on up here, it is unbelievably powerful. And it's so easy. People are like, it's kind of like magic.
It is.
I'm like, yeah, it's not anything. I always say what I teach, it's kind of common knowledge, or it's common sense. It's not anything anybody don't know, but most people forget about it. They just don't think about it. And yes, sure, there are people that don't understand that, and it makes huge differences for them. But just heightening that awareness, making that 1 degree shift, it can literally change everything in your life.
So, Vanessa, how did you become a confidence coach? What was the spark that got you started and decided, well, I'm going to coach people on how to do this, help them out?
I've always been a teacher. I've always been someone who loves to share and teach and coach. So as a personal trainer, a Pilates instructor, a yoga instructor, as a performer, I was a dance teacher for a while. I've always been about people's development. And it just kind of made sense. The Victory Factor is a program I created many years ago. And until now, I've really coached coaches on how to implement what I teach into their coaching, because it's a part of it. It's not necessarily all that they do. But a few years ago, I just have such a passion. I find myself working with people, and I think a lot of coaches have the same experience when people come to you for your help and you end up helping them, but you're not really charging them and you're not really, So a few years ago, I just decided to officially call myself a confidence and success coach. And of course, I've done some more education around that. But, my background in the performance industry was really the spark for this, because like I said, I've had directors say things to me like, and this one stands out because this one stuck with me and this affected me deeply. I went to this audition of this job that I really wanted. It was a dance show at a huge resort I really wanted to work for years. And I went to this audition. They only had 2 spots open. And I auditioned with all these other girls. And I was waiting for the call. You know how they say, we'll call you. And the call came, and the director's words on the phone to me was, and mind you, I was young, I was impressionable, I was still finding my way. He was like, Vanessa, you dance circles around the other girls, but you got to get rid of those thighs.
Wow.
Right? Okay. So what happens to a young brain when it hears that? Of course, I held my pose on the phone, put the phone down, but completely fell apart. Called my mom, I need liposuction. I don't know what else I can do. I dance 8 hours a day. I exercise. I eat healthy. What else can I do? How am I going to get the jobs? Or, those types of things as a performer. And people can be brutal and directors can be brutal. The other thing is, I had to learn that when you go to an audition and you audition for a part and they turn you down, it's not always because you're not good enough. It's just because that director had a picture of what that character looks like. And if you don't look like that character, no matter how good you are at what you do, you're not going to get the part, right? So, and what we do is we personalize it. We take it personally. We go, I'm not good enough and I'm never going to work again or whatever, So I've been through all those emotions, but I learned, and I'm thankful that I had the brain in my head to understand that it's not always about me. Sometimes those comments come from people because they have issues, or you're just not what they were looking for at that time. It wasn't the right time, the right place, the right role, but you keep going and you keep trying and you keep doing your best and you grow with every audition, you grow with every experience. And I always had work. And the foundation of all of this, I'm talking a lot, JC, but the foundation of all of this was that I was never a great technician. Like, I wasn't the most technical dancer on the floor. I didn't have the best voice singing. I wasn't the best actress, but you know what? I could perform. Like, I could give you a show. I could put all of that together and, do, and I was reliable and I was positive and all these things. That's what kept me working. Not the fact that I was a brilliant dancer or a brilliant singer or a brilliant actress, but the fact that I was always positive, I was always reliable, and I came into my auditions with a good attitude and a magnetic presence, and I did my best. And that is what got me the jobs, not the skill.
And you know what? That experience, as hurtful and painful, and as you internalize that, you also found a vision of what you can do. And because there are other people out there that need what you have, that confidence and that stopping and understanding that this is not about me. This is about somebody else that has some kind of prejudice or some kind of problem that is externalizing it and put it on me. And there's a lot of people out there that have that experience, and they get stuck. They don't know how to get past that point in their lives.
Right. And that's exactly, that was beautifully said, JC. That's exactly what it's about.
Yes. So besides that one, give me 3 things that you learned years back and you still use today in your business or in life.
Well, one would be tenacity, perseverance, right? Growing up as a dancer, I did many, many forms of dance. I loved it. I was passionate about it. But the point of that is that if you don't have the ability to commit, you're not going to make it and you're going to quit because it's hard. Okay. So it definitely staying power, tenacity, that has been probably one of the most helpful things in my life as an entrepreneur. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a boss telling you what to do. You have to motivate yourself. And that's the second thing, self-motivation. You learn to be disciplined and to motivate yourself because no one else is going to tell you what to do. You got to show up. You got to do it. And you got to find the reward within it. And as a dancer, dancers don't earn a lot of money, right? You're not doing it for money. You're doing it because you love it and there's passion for it. And so the drive cannot be coming from earning a lot of money. That's not the drive. The drive is just understanding the internal rewards that come from going through the trials and tribulations and getting out the other side successful. So, those are really things that I would say self-discipline, self-motivation, and tenacity. Those would be the 3 main things that I've learned in my life that has stood me through. I mean, in some of the worst times of my life when I didn't know where my next job was going to come from, because as a performer going from audition to audition, it's not like, you have a gig and it ends and then you have to look for your next job and your next job and your next job. It's not like having a job somewhere where they employ you for 20 years, especially not in South Africa where I'm from. Contracts were short. Our longest contracts are about a year. And then you have to look for your new gig or your new job. And so if you don't know how to get up in the morning, go to the gym, do what you got to do, even when you don't have a job and you're not earning money, you're never going to survive.
Right. So you said tenacity,
self-motivation,
and self-discipline.
Discipline, yes.
So absolutely. Those are 3 elements of confidence. Because you got to have confidence to be able to follow through, motivate yourself to do what you know needs to be done without anybody looking over your shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Tenacity, you got to be confident to keep going no matter what. You find a way around it. Exactly. And self-discipline, you got to have the confidence that you can do it. So those are 3 elements of unstoppable confidence, for sure. Right.
You are correct. So you can see where it's all coming from. And JC, a very interesting thing, the way you build confidence is, like I said, is you start uncomfortable and you're okay with failing and you have to keep trying. But what we have to realize is that it starts with accountability to yourself. Because if you can, your subconscious doesn't understand whether you are being accountable to a boss or a job or whether you're being accountable to yourself, right? To the subconscious, that's all the same. So it's the small things in our everyday life that if you make yourself a promise or you set a goal for yourself, make sure you do everything you can to reach that goal, whether it is, for the next week, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and write in my diary or whatever it is you want to do. If you miss one morning, your subconscious is like, you know what? You're not even accountable to yourself. How can you be accountable to the world? And all those little negative voices start coming. So if you can start with the little things and stack those small wins, whatever it might be, just whatever it is you decide, just stick with it and do it for yourself. That is the best way to start building your confidence.
I agree with that. Now let's talk about your book before you leave. Let's talk about your book. What's the name of your book and what is it about?
All right. My book is called Killer Confidence, Your Ultimate Guide to Unstoppable Confidence, Self-Confidence. And it really is, it's an easy read. It's a quick read. I wanted to make it simple, but it's practical. Everything in here, I've shared some of my stories to be sure it's an interesting read. And then I explained how I apply the principles and the things that I teach in order to reach the results. And it's actually like a little workbook. It has a lot of information. It has pictures. It has some exercises you can do. I mean, like little like worksheets and stuff that really, really helps. Excuse me. But it's all about practical tools that you can implement the moment you read this book. And that's the way to get started. And I just wanted to get it out there. I want people to succeed, and I want people to feel great about themselves.
Congratulations. And is that on Amazon? Where can people get it?
Yes, they can get it on Amazon. They can just search Killer Confidence by Vanessa Raymond, and it should pop up. But if you're local, if you're in the United States, if you order from my website, readkillerconfidence.com, I can send you an autographed copy.
What's the name of the website again?
The website, it's readkillerconfidence.com.
Okay. And go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And you can also find it on my Victory Factor website. So it's on Amazon, readkillerconfidence.com, or victoryfactor.com. But readkillerconfidence.com.
If people wanted to contact you and have a talk with you, how can they do that?
There's various ways. Firstly, I always love new friends on social media. So if you want to connect with me on Facebook, you can just find me as Vanessa Raymond in Colorado. My Instagram handle is Vanessa Raymond 04. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me there. Otherwise, you can please email me at vanessa@victoryfactor.com. Just like you say it, victoryfactor.com.
Okay, this is a fascinating subject. I really love it. Thank you for educating us about confidence, and I really appreciate you coming along with us.
Thank you, JC. Thank you so much for having me today, and love you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. And to my listeners, all her links are going to be below the recording. Until next time, this is JC with Online Media 360. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.